independent short. Mateo literally sitting on the moon. Ramon Arias playing second base.
It was fun going to games again. It was fun feeling the energy of the yard. And I'm ready for the next step.
They're all exciting pieces. And I mean, you could look at a lot of lineups this year and you could really feel good about the game. And I don't think we could say that for the last few years.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 78, maybe, of Talking Birdie. We are short Ryan right now. He should be joining us in about 15 minutes or so, but nice to get back onto the mic and behind the camera. I'm here with Josh. Josh, how's everything going, man?
Doing good, man. I have a bathroom again. We went like a month and a half or so, probably about a month without a bathroom, like no toilet, no shower or anything.
So you just didn't go to the bathroom for a month then?
Well, we went on vacation back to Michigan for a couple of days, and then they were working on it while we were gone, but that was like around Christmas time. And then we had friends who were out of state for Christmas. We were allowed to stay at their house for a few days until this was supposed to get wrapped up. Then it took longer. So we had like a week and a half, 2 weeks where we were just like running to the gas station, a couple close McDonald's calls with the bathroom, but showering at the gyms. But it's been the light is at the end of the tunnel. We're through the tunnel. It's all done now. So very happy.
Amen to that, brother. Amen.
Yeah, that's my biggest development as of late.
Cool, man. Well, I'm glad you're able to take a shit when you have to.
Yeah, that McDonald's came in clutch. 4 minutes around the corner there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Hey, yeah, how you been, man? It's been probably about a month now.
Yeah, it has been a minute, man. I mean, it's slow time of year. We finally got some snow here for the first time in 2 years, so doing a little snow removal here at the golf course. I'm just trying to get through this week, man, because next week things are going to start trending up a little bit. Well, we got the Ravens AFC Championship on Sunday. Looking for that.
Oh yeah.
And then tax season starts on Monday. Yes, I know the exact date, and that's because last year the IRS got me pretty good, but this year I'm getting it back, and I can't wait. So it's one of they have me in the first half, but now Daddy's coming for his revenge, and I can't wait. So
got you on those gains, right?
They got me on the gains, and now I'm getting it back for the capital losses.
That's the way to play the game. Yeah, that's
exactly,
how you stay in the game.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, the capital losses aren't good, but it'll make tax season much better. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How much did it? I know I won't ask you that, but
I'll go into it off.
Okay. So how much did they take from you? I was like, I'm not gonna. No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it in front of everybody, but I'll tell you.
That's fair. Okay. As for like the Orioles, well, let me say like Merry Christmas to everybody first. Like
Merry belated Christmas, Happy New Year. We're
much
22
belated.
days into it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much belated. But we were gonna do an episode like the week of Christmas. Like
you're cutting in and out, man.
Are we good?
Yeah, you're good right now.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. We're on a hotspot right now because this computer doesn't like to connect to the Wi-Fi properly. But
all right, well, whatever you just did seems to be working better.
Cool.
So.
We'll take it. But yeah, we were supposed to record like the week of Christmas. That's like when it would have fallen. And then that just didn't happen because Christmas. And so then we went like another 3 weeks. And there really hasn't been much to talk about, but we can kind of riff on whatever's been happening recently. I know, this is the little impromptu episode going live because the Orioles just got back Tyler Nevin from cash considerations.
Yes, this is a Tyler Nevin emergency episode. That's what we're going to call this one.
Exactly. Going live to discuss his season in Norfolk.
Exactly.
He won't be playing for the Orioles this year. But I mean, other than that, man, like
over under 0.5 at bats for Tyler Nevin in Baltimore this year. I'm going to say over, but not by much.
I'm going to say over. He might get like one game, like the Yusniel Diaz game. He'll get that one at bat and never see him again.
Who was that one random first baseman that we called up in like the San Francisco series, and he was only up for one series, and he made his MLB debut at like age 30, and now his name's totally eluding me because he was, not important.
Was it this year?
This year, yeah.
Really?
Once I hear it, I'm gonna be like, "That's the one." That's
San
the one.
Francisco debut. I'm gonna find out.
I think it was Sam because he had like a clutch RBI hit too, but I think he was only up for like 1 or 2 series.
It does sound familiar. I don't know if he was a first baseman, but let me see here. Could
I think he
legitimately
was.
be.
I think he was one of those one of the trios of third base. I'm embarrassed for not knowing this off the top of my head. I'm such a casual.
Oh, Josh Lester.
Josh Lester, there we go.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He did get
He-
like 23 at bats.
okay,
Yeah.
23 at bats. That's probably about like what 5, 6 games worth, I guess.
He was
6 or
actually in
7.
11 games, but he wasn't a starter in probably
I
any of
guess,
those.
yeah. He pinch hit in some of them.
Yeah, he had an OPS plus of 15. So
Really, that bad?
it's
Man,
tough. Yeah.
wow.
Because he like debuted with the Tigers, I think, last year. And then yeah, the Tigers and Orioles seem to have a pretty good relationship these days with the amount of like middling people that keep going back and forth.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, we got Tyler Nevin back. They gave us Josh Lester, fair trade. There's probably some more in there, but did you I didn't look at who we signed at all. Like I didn't see anything about it. I didn't really seek out information either. But the
Honestly,
international draft.
no, honestly, I haven't looked. I don't think we got anyone that significant, do we?
We probably like is anyone significant when they're 16? But
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying like, even though we've improved our international presence, I think I was still seeing we didn't get any like top 50 international prospects or anything like that. I mean, that's going to take a while to
yeah, it is
materialize.
what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's basically a crapshoot. You're hoping some of these guys, might turn into a decent minor league player and develop him into something more, maybe one of them.
Yeah, one of them
And
might
then
make it to like age 20.
Yeah, in any international class. So
Right. It's just hard to care about that stuff when, we had like 100-win season last year and, we're kind of,
yeah.
people's eyes turn to more important things, which is a
I
good
mean,
thing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love me some minor league ball. I'll still be following all the box scores and whatnot, but I don't know anything about these guys the day that they sign them out of the Dominican Republic, and I'm not going to pretend that I do.
No.
I follow the prospects to see how they're doing once they make it to the, at least the minor leagues.
Right. I
And
will say,
that's kind of how I feel about the draft too. I might when we were picking number 1 overall, then there was times I'd be like, oh yeah, I want this guy just based off what I read and all that. But I think I'm fairly well versed on minor league ball, but not so much before minor league ball. I'm not
yeah,
out there scouting the guys. So
right. Like I just trust it until, we see like 50 games or something at like high A, and then you kind
yeah,
of get a good estimate. Now, I do know one of the coaches, a little bit of a friend of mine. He worked with Enrique Bradfield Jr. last year in
yes,
Aberdeen.
yeah,
And I didn't really think much of him when we picked him. It's just like a mid to late first round draft pick that was like all speed, is what I was told.
yeah,
I guess he's really talented. Like his defense is some of the best they've ever seen down there. His speed is obviously elite from just the stolen base numbers, but they talked very highly of him last year. Like stood out the
yeah.
most besides like Holiday. But
Yeah, I'm excited for him as a fan of the stolen base for sure.
yes, yeah,
So I'm just hoping he can. The one thing that concerns me is they're like, oh, we'll see if he can provide enough offense. That's never really that ring of an endorsement when you hear that, but hopefully they can make something of it because I like having that speed on the base paths. And I also believe it's not like he's Jorge Mateo striking out all the time. He's a contact guy, and they're projecting as a lefty at Camden Yards, he can turn into like a 15 to 20 home run guy. So we'll see.
nice.
I'm excited to get out and watch him play this year, though.
Yeah,
Wherever that may be.
his ceiling is like mid or early 2010s Jacoby Ellsbury, but his like floor is Daz Cameron and Derek Hill.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
Just-
I would assume since he was a college bat, he'll probably start in. I think he ended in Aberdeen last year, but
I
he
think
wasn't
so.
in Aberdeen. He wasn't in Aberdeen for very long, so they'll probably start him in Aberdeen for 1 to 2 months, and then he'll make his way to Bowie. So, yeah, man, I'm excited for that. Excited to go watch him play.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And then Sam Basayo has been really moving up the prospect board. It's
Hell yes, dude.
like
Hell yes.
crazy. I didn't even like
Maybe
really
a 4 straight year. Maybe a 4 straight year of number ones if we want to be bold next year.
It's possible. It's very possible. I mean,
Yep.
he's 19 years old.
Okay, so how do we think they're gonna figure this out with him being a catcher and us having Adley for at least 4 more years if we don't extend him? How do you think Adley moves to first, Basayo catches, or Basayo plays first, Adley catches, or they?
I don't know how good his defense is. I think it's pretty good, right? From everything I've heard.
Yeah.
Like really fast hands and stuff. So I want to say that they'll just phase Adley to first base. They'll probably let Mountcastle walk in free agency, which hurts me. But that's probably what they'll do. And then Basayo, full-time catcher. But, we'll see.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I just don't see them paying someone like Mountcastle or even Santander.
Yeah. I agree. There's no need to with all the depth that we have. But it would kind of suck to see them leave for nothing. But all right, so what do you make of all the Dylan Cease talk, since that's been kind of the hype that Orioles fans seem to be asking about on Twitter? What's your stance on that?
Has it been picking up lately? I haven't been on Twitter as much the last few months.
I don't necessarily know that it's been picking up in terms of the Orioles actually doing anything, but Orioles Twitter's kind of been back and forth on it nonstop. And I have my opinion on that, but I want to hear what you think.
I think that, he had a really good 2022. 2023 was a bit of a step back from that, but still like a good year as far as like starting pitchers go, and certainly something we need. But I think the White Sox are just not a well-run organization that are requesting like way too much for what is probably an average to above average starting pitcher with like reliable innings. So, it makes sense for both teams, but I don't think the asking price is in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, I was hoping you would say something different so I could argue with you, but that's pretty much spot on how I feel. I mean, they asked for freaking Jackson Holiday. That's what the reports were saying at the trade deadline. I'm sure they probably aren't asking for him now, but it's got to be high,
They probably just moved to Basayo.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to do that either. And she's had like a 4.58 ERA. If cost wasn't an issue, would I take him? Yeah, of course I would. But no, I'm not mortgaging the future for something like that. Now, on the flip side, I do think we have enough depth that we kind of have to move some guys, but maybe like a Connor Norby, a Joey Ortiz, Hudson Haskin. You might not get the premier guy, but that's fine. Just make something out of it,
Yeah, like with a lot of those guys, just see if they'll fit in anywhere besides Baltimore, because they're not going to fit here. But hello, Ryan. Welcome.
Exactly. What's up, Ryan?
Gentle dudes. Hello.
Hey, I did the intro today. Just wanted to let you know.
You did.
I can't wait to hear it, man.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was quite good.
Good.
Thank
Phenomenal
you.
job.
Thank you.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that somebody else is able to take up the burden of introducing the show when in my stead when I'm unavailable.
I'm the third string intro guy.
And by unavailable, I mean stupid and forgot that we were recording tonight.
Well,
checked me on it this morning and said, "Are you going to say something stupid?"
Well, okay. There's a big difference between, oh yeah, sorry, give me a few minutes, and I'm going to North Carolina. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah, that's fair. But Mr. Ryan, how have you been, my guy? It's been, like I was telling Brad, it's been like a month or so.
Super goodly. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're doing good. We covered that in the intro.
Swell. Huh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we covered it a little bit, but we're good, man.
Well, I didn't
just
hear
for
it, so...
just for your sake, we're good, bro.
Good.
We're good. We're good. Let's move on.
Good.
I want to hear about autism trip. I want to hear all the things, because Orioles news is dry. We've covered all that there is to cover. Besides Sino Perez arbitration is
and the reacquisition of Tyler Nevin.
Yes, we did declare
this will be titled
the Tyler Nevin emergency episode.
Yeah, that's the title.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Jeez, I don't even know where to start. So, I mean, I know I explained this a long time ago on Hear What We Were Doing, but anyone who didn't hear that episode, me and two of my friends, Nolan and Freddie, all big aviation geeks. We love airplanes. We love flying. And we thought it would be a fun idea to book 4 flights in a 24-hour period and hop around the country in planes just for the hell of it. So originally we were supposed to be on so our itinerary was BWI to Los Angeles, Los Angeles to Portland, Portland to Salt Lake City, and then from Salt Lake City we had a red-eye flight back home. So it was going to be, down to the Southwest United States, up to the Northwest, to the Midwest, and then home, all in literally less than 24 hours, because the red eye was due to land at like 5:30, and I think our first flight left at like, I don't know, 6 something. No, was it 6? No, I think it was a little later than that. But anyway, at any rate, it was less than 24 hours. So, yeah, there's been some issues with the FAA being political, and grounding an airplane that didn't need to be grounded. And that happened to be the one that we were supposed to take out to Los Angeles. So we were keeping an eye on it all week, and each day that went by, it started getting a little more sketchy, because like each day that one, BWI to LA was getting canceled. And so a couple days before, they sent us travel waiver saying like, here's a one-time free change, do what you need to do, as long as it's, I think the stipulations were like same departure and arrival airports, and it has to be within the next 30 days. I think that was like literally the only stipulation. They were like, go crazy. So there was nothing that would get us to LA in time, out of BWI, because there was only connections in Chicago, and I think actually, what the problem was is the flight to Chicago and from Chicago to LA was supposed to be on the grounded plane. So that was out as well. I think that would have gotten us there in time. But at any rate, we had something to figure out, because our entire trip hinged on getting to Los Angeles in time for this, to keep the trip going. We didn't have any really tight connections, but like things still had to go reasonably well in order for this to work. I think our shortest connection was actually LA to Portland was our shortest connection. I think it was only like an hour and 40 minutes maybe. So Fred sees this trip, this one from Dulles, in Washington, which is not in Washington. It's in bumfuck Virginia. I don't know how they get away with calling that DC airport, but I digress. So Fred spends, I don't know, like an hour on the phone with United, and gets me, him, and Nolan all switched onto this flight. So we're all set there. We're good. Fred's girlfriend lives in DC, so we crash at her place Friday night. She takes us to the airport in the morning. Things are great. We get to the airport. Me and Nolan get Starbucks because we're coffee sluts. We get on our first flight. It's fantastic. The only thing that sucked about it was the Wi-Fi didn't work, and it's just sometimes what happens. Like they rebooted it like 3 times. The FAs were like, we're trying really hard to get the Wi-Fi working, and it just isn't. Sure. So yeah, that was the only thing that sucked. But like it was a wide body plane, so it had screens in the back of the seats. So I watched a movie. It was actually pretty funny because me and Fred were on the same reservation, and United encourages you to pre-put a card on your ticket, so that way there's no like exchanging of cards. Like if you buy stuff on the plane, it's literally just like, they punch in your seat and then you have a card associated with it, so it just charges it. It's like very seamless, very easy. And I realized that, and I was like, I'm on Fred's ticket, which means Fred's card is linked to my seat. And I was like, he's gonna buy me a drink this morning, so I got a vodka and orange juice and like a snack box. So everything that was really good. We got into LA, I think like 30 minutes early. And then we slowed down, we like exited the runway, and we just stopped like in the middle between 2 runways. And after a while, the captain was like, yeah, there's a plane going to Tokyo that hasn't pushed back yet, and they're in our gate, so we need to wait for them. And so from the time we went wheels down in LA to the time we actually get to the gate was about 50 minutes.
Wow.
Like 50. Yeah, I'm just sitting on the plane on the ground. So that cut down our connection time as well. And Fred is a Delta simp. He has like the loyalty card and like the special fucking credit card with them that get you all the benefits and stuff. And they just opened up their like Sky Club lounge in LA. It's like the newest one. It's like pristine, dude. And Fred was like so adamant about going to the Sky Club in LA. And we're walking and it's like, dude, I don't think we're gonna be able to go to this club. Like, just looking at the timings, like it's not gonna be worth it. Like, with his privileges, he can get 2 guests in. We still have to pay, but he can get guests in. So I had budgeted for one trip to the lounge. I had made sure I had it's like $50. I wasn't gonna do it at every airport, but I wanted to do it at least once. So I budgeted one time, and I was planning on using that at Salt Lake City because that was our longest connection, and it would have given me time to have some drinks, have some food, and hopefully just like carb load. So maybe I'd be able to fall asleep on this red eye. So that was my plan. I was like, I really just want to use it in Salt Lake, man. Like, I don't want to do this. And like, especially, like I said, we didn't have like any time. So we're walking. And by the way, Los Angeles International Airport is so fucking huge. I can't even describe to you how big LAX is. And there's no people movers. There's no like sort of train that moves you around. It's just walking.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's
inefficient. And actually,
It's extremely inefficient, and I want to show you something. So, okay, let me try to get a good thing here. All right, so can you see? I'm gonna share my screen. All right, so can you see this little map of LAX here?
Not yet. Oh, there you go.
Okay, so you see Terminal 7 right here, right?
Yes.
Terminal 7. That's United's terminal. We parked right here on the edge, right on this corner, right here. Guess where Delta's terminal is?
Hold on, nothing's moving. Hold on.
Terminal 2. All the way over here.
Oh, wow.
And we had to walk. I mean, there's no tram system, there's no cut throughs here or anything. It was literally down through each terminal 6, 5, 4, 3, all the way through. So we were just power walking, dude. My Apple Watch was like, it looks like you're working out. I was like, I am. Like
just wheezing in the terminals.
Because Fred is hightailing it. So we're almost there. I'm sweating because I have a hoodie on and I'm in Los Angeles and it's like 60 degrees. I'm just like not having a good time. So we get to like the area and he was like, would it sway either of you if I paid for you to get into the Sky Club? And we were like, yeah, sure would. Let's do it.
It's happening.
So we go in there and like, dude, like I said, I sent you some pictures when we were there, man. It is pristine. They have these outside seating areas with like couches and a bar, and the food is just, all you can eat. Like, just grab a plate, load up on some food. There's like premium liquor, but you can get free alcohol, free beer, free wine.
Wow.
Yeah, and like,
how do you get approved for that? Is it just like the rewards, like the high end of the rewards club?
Yeah, it's status. It's like when you fly certain, you get a status with the airline, and then I think it's also the credit card that he has.
Yeah,
like he has like the Mac Daddy like special Delta credit card. I think he said it's like a $500 yearly fee for that card.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
But it also comes with the benefit of like that plus his status, dude. He, on all 3 of our Delta flights, he didn't buy a single first class ticket. He got upgraded to first class on all 3 of them.
Jeez, that's a perk.
Complimentary upgrades. Like when you have that kind of status, like you just book an economy ticket, you go in there and you get like request complimentary upgrade, and like they sort it by status. So like if there's a free seat, yeah, there you go. When you check in, you get your boarding pass. Oh, look at that! I'm sitting in first class.
Wow.
Yeah.
How often does he fly? Where he has like the high miles club or whatever?
More than you would think. He's flying 3 weekends in a row, including this past weekend and the weekend before, and he's flying this weekend again.
Does he do it for work or is just leisure? Just leisure.
This past weekend, him and his girlfriend went to Tahoe to go skiing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being a CPA.
And then yeah, I know. Yeah, and then this coming weekend he's doing another like flying for fun trip just by himself.
All right. Get those weekends wrapped up.
I know. So anyways, So yeah, we chill in the Sky Club for a little bit, and it's like the gate's pretty close to where the thing was. So we're like, we don't have to go like when boarding starts. Like as long as we're there before they close the door, it's fine. So we hung out for a little bit longer. It was great. It was a smaller plane, so there wasn't that many people on board. We like didn't break stride. There was no line, so we just like had our boarding passes out. We're just like keep walking. We're just like scan, thank you, right onto the plane. Like things are going. I actually thought to myself, things are going too well at that point, and they were. They were going too well. So we knew Portland was having some winter weather going into it, and we thought like, okay, there's no delay to our flight. There's no talk of anything like Portland being messed up. So like, yeah, they're having weather. Maybe they're just managing it well. It's Portland. They get snow all the time. I'm sure they handle it well. Let me tell you, I'll get there, but let me tell you how wrong I was about that. So we fly, we go up the coast to Portland. I'm seated next to a toddler who kicks me repeatedly.
That's a given.
Mm-hmm. It really sucked because everything else but that flight was nice. Like the Delta has, they all have the TVs in the back of the seats, and then they have the live TV, and the Browns Texans game was on, so I was watching that. Brad, I saw both of the Joe Flacco pick sixes from my seat on that plane. That's when I was texting you about that.
Yep.
And Delta also introduced like free Wi-Fi now if you're a Sky Miles member, and I am, just because like you don't even have to pay anything. It's just like their little rewards program. But when you get on the plane, if you log in with it, you just get the Wi-Fi for free. So I was like fully connected. Like I was texting Brad, I was texting Terry the whole time, scrolling Twitter, watching. I was chilling, man. It was nice. So we get into Portland. It's definitely snowing, like, snow drifts everywhere, but like the runways look clear, and like we're like cautiously optimistic. We're like, maybe we're fine. So we get off the plane. We're sitting there, we go to our gate, and the plane that's sitting at the gate is not the one that's supposed to be ours. We're like, oh fuck. And it was another flight that hadn't cleared out yet, and it took them forever to de-ice this plane, man. Like they brought the little trucks over with like the guys with the hoses, and they just like hose down the plane to, de-ice it.
Did they not have like the little they look like robots, like Terminator type robots, where they're like in the sky on like a bucket and they can just move it around? Oh, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. I think meant just like random guys with hoses. I was like, that seems archaic.
I was just doing performance art.
Okay, I understand.
But the wind was like just blowing like crazy, and like they kept trying to blow it on the one side of the plane, and they would blow it and the wind would just blow it right back in their face. It was comical to watch. So our plane coming in just sat there for a while. Then we get the thing saying we're delayed for a half hour. We're like, all right, at this point, delays, whatever, we don't care, because we have like a 4-hour layover in Salt Lake. So it's like, we're chilling, we're good. So we get that half-hour delay. They get the new plane in, get it unloaded, get the people off of it, and they board us like right on time, like we should have been, like with the half-hour delay, but like right when the time you think. So we're like, we're perfect, we're straight, we're good, this is awesome. So we get on the plane. Nothing happens for a little bit. You can see that everybody's on the plane. Nobody else is coming down the aisle. Nothing's happening. So then the captain comes on and he's like, folks, sorry, I need to do my pilot voice. Folks, we're just
you gotta like cover your mic though.
Yeah. They said there was one fuel truck available at Portland International Airport.
One truck for the entire airport.
And he's like, we're just still waiting to get the airplane fueled up. Gotta get some bags loaded up. Gotta get de-iced. So it's gonna be about 10 minutes for all three, for each of those things. We should be out of here in, about 30, 40 minutes. He comes back on again about 20, 25 minutes later, and he's like, so I don't really have much of an update for you, but I'm hearing that our ops center has tried calling the fueling company multiple times, and they're just going to voicemail now. And we're like, sick.
That's
This is
brutal.
this is great. So we sat there for another like 30 minutes. I mean, at this point, we're sitting, and the plane's boarded. I mean, the plane's full, just sitting on the ground. Nothing's happening. Um, Finally the fuel truck gets there, and like, I don't know if you've ever watched them fuel an airplane, Josh, but they have the truck, right? And the truck doesn't actually carry the fuel. It's just like a delivery method. So they take a hose and they have like fueling points in the ground. So they
Yeah.
hook it up to that, and then they like have a thing on the computer that they like, all right, this is how much fuel we need. So then the truck like kind of siphons the fuel, and then it loads it into the airplane. Well, because of all the snow on the ground, they couldn't find the fuel hole. So there's two guys out there. I'm watching them through my window. They just have shovels. They're just like shoveling snow, trying to find the like fuel port. And we're like, I'm just sitting there with my head against the window. I'm like,
We're never
fucked.
getting out.
We're never getting out of here. We're gonna get, I actually thought for a minute we were getting stuck in Portland. Like,
Wow.
I really did think that. So
It's funny it wasn't
sat
like
there.
fully weather based either. It was just like partial incompetence with a little bit of weather. They didn't know how to handle it.
Dude. I mean, there was snow, and it looked like it was blowing like crazy. The temperature said it was 16 degrees. I mean, it was brutal. But these were not like whiteout blizzard conditions. There was like 6, maybe 7 inches of snow. I mean, this is Portland. This is the Pacific Northwest. They get snow.
Right.
They were dealing with this the way I would imagine Floridians would, where they're just like, oh no, what are we supposed to do? Like,
Shut down everything.
yeah. So we finally, dude, we were in total, compared with our original departure time, delayed by 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow.
And most of that time was spent sitting on the plane.
That's the worst part.
Like, it was not like, oh, we're gonna, we're delayed. I couldn't walk around the airport, go to the bathroom, get something to eat, get a drink. It was just sitting in a plane seat.
That's horrible.
And the only thing that like was kind of nice was they at one point were like, if you are connecting and you're concerned about missing your connection, they're like, you can get off right now. Or I think, and they also were like, if you live in Portland and like just want to rebook and like try this again tomorrow, they were like, you can hop off. We'll go see the desk. We'll rebook you. We'll get it figured out.
That's nice
So,
they gave you an option.
yeah, and a handful of people did do that. And so that I was in a full row. I had a window, but I had a person in the middle and then the aisle. And when the people got up and I saw there was a row on the very back of the plane. It was completely empty. So I was like, yeah, I want that. So I went all the way back there, had a whole row to myself. So yeah, we eventually got out of there, but it was too late. Our longest connection, and we still didn't make it.
That's brutal.
So we're inbound to Salt Lake, and me and the boys are just we're texting, we're trying to figure out what we're doing. And by the way, it's at this point, like 10 something Pacific. So like it's late. We've been traveling all day. We were up at 6 o'clock. Like, we're all running on fumes at this point. I sent you that video that I made, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was nothing but exhaustion.
Buddy was not here.
No, I wasn't. What's funny is I don't even remember recording it. I found it on my phone the next day.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah. So we're me and the boys are texting. We're just like, what the hell are we gonna do? Like, so I was like, there's a flight attendant back here. Let me see if they can do anything. And so I went back to the flight attendant, and I was like, there was actually already a guy talking to him, and I heard him say something about Baltimore. And I was like, oh, this guy's trying to connect to the Baltimore flight too. So me and him are both talking to this flight attendant. The flight attendant's like, yeah, he's like, the only thing I can do is I can call up to the captain, and I can tell him that we have people trying to connect to Baltimore. It's going to be close. See if he can radio like Salt Lake ground and just have them hold that flight for a little bit. So he said that that's what he was going to do. Well, then a few minutes go by, and Fred, I don't know if it was Fred or Nolan, one of them was like, guys, like my reservation just like auto changed. Like Delta, their auto system was like, oh, they're not going to make it. Let's rebook them automatically.
Oh, wow.
So all 3 of us in the span of like 15 minutes got rebooked onto different reservations. Fred got booked onto a flight to Atlanta that left like, I don't know, an hour after we were supposed to. Me and Nolan also got booked on a flight to Atlanta, but it wasn't until 6:30 the next day.
Interesting. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So, but the problem with that is we were no longer on the manifest for the BWI flight. So they had no
Right.
reason to hold it.
Right. They were out of there.
Yeah, we touched down. So we touched down in Salt Lake, and the captain is like, and keep in mind, none of us are thinking about that. We're just like, we can still make it. We can still make it. Like, that flight, our flight was supposed to push back at 11:15. The captain comes on and he's like, yeah, welcome Salt Lake City. It's 11:30. Local time is 11:13. We're like, yes, like we can make it. We can make it. Like if they hold it for just a few minutes, like we'll be fine. And we pull into the gate area, and our plane that we were supposed to be on taxis past us. And it's like that meme of the two people in the passing car where they're just like, and we were like, dude, they pushed early. Like we were there in time. They pushed early. Yeah. And I didn't think about it until a few days later, but it's like, it's because we got rebooked.
Let's say you think they would have
To
been
them,
communicating if you were still on.
You would have thought, yeah, because the flight attendant knew. He like had it on his little phone. He's like, yeah, I see there's like 5 of you connecting to the BWI. So he knew. That means everybody else knew. But the system auto rebooked us, took us off that flight. And we couldn't get back on it. There was no time. So Fred was in first class, so he was like first one off the plane. He's like, I'm gonna go get this shit figured out, boys. So he's just like, he's gone. Me and Nolan get off, and they're like kind of like waving people to like a help desk type of thing. So we're getting in line. Bunch of people miss connections. It's crazy how many people were connecting to red-eye flights. I always feel like whenever I do something like that, like I'm the only one that's gonna be doing that, but
You're
everybody
the guy.
else is too. Yeah. So we're standing in line, and like honestly, dude, I really like Delta, but this little thing really left a bad taste in my mouth. There was a person walking up and down the line, and they knew a lot of people were from the Portland flight, and they were like, she was basically walking up and down the line saying, if you're from in so many words, I'm not quoting here, but she said in so many words, if you're from the Portland flight, it was weather related. We're not doing hotels. So if all you think you're doing is getting a hotel, you can get out of line now.
Oh, wow.
And apparently that's how it is. If it's weather related, the airline can say it's completely not our fault. We're not obligated to do anything like that.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm. So we're like, what the fuck? Like, we're sleeping in the airport tonight. We're on a 6:30 flight tomorrow. We're sleeping in the airport, I guess. Well, Fred, thank goodness he was rebooked onto that other flight, because he was put on standby because they oversold it. So when he was talking to the guy, this is so clever. I'm so glad he did this. He was like, the guy was like, yeah, so we oversold it. We're trying to get people to volunteer to get off the flight. So Fred was like, so I'm on, he's like, I'm on standby. He's like, yes. He's like, okay, I would like to be put on this flight. And the guy goes, okay, you're on the flight. And then Fred goes, I would like to volunteer to get off of this flight. And so because he did that, the guy gave him a $600 hotel credit to just
what?
Yeah, it's up to $600. It's basically like you pay for it and then you send the bill to Delta, basically. Wow. And they'll cover up to $600. So thank God for that, because we had gotten nothing.
That's awesome.
If not for him doing that. So he eventually is like, all right, so like he's like, the best thing they have tomorrow is a 9:45 to Reagan, DCA Reagan. And we're like, okay, cool, we're gonna try to get on that too. So we talked to the girl at the desk, and after a little while she's like, yep, I got you guys on that flight, you guys are good. So all 3 of us are now booked on the same flight for the next day. And at this point we didn't know that Fred had the credit for the hotel. So we were like, is there anything you can do about like a hotel? She's like, what I can do for you is I can send you a code that you can use at a hotel, and it'll give you like a nice discount. So at least it won't be as expensive. We're like, okay, that's cool. Well, This exchange occurred at about 12:03 a.m. and she just looked up and said, "I'm sorry." We're like, "What?" She's like, "It's now the same day of the flight. I can't give you hotel stuff."
Hmm.
We were like, "Jesus Christ, dude, are you kidding me?" It was like, I looked at the clock. It was 12:03.
4
3
minutes.
minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're like, I mean, and it's literally the system just that doesn't let her do it. So like, I'm not gonna
Right.
like,
Belittle her.
berate low level employees at the airport, because I'm an adult. So so we're like, okay. And then like a few minutes later, Fred showed up and he told us like, we're good for the night. Like we're solid. So again, it's past midnight now. We make our way out of Salt Lake City and we find like there's like a designated curb for the hotel shuttles. The first one that pulls up is like a Comfort Inn, something or other. And he's like, guy gets out. He's like, "Y'all going to Comfort Inn?" We're like, "Is that a hotel?" And he's like, "Yeah." We're like, "Sure." He was like, he like looks at this thing. He's like, "You going to the one at?" We're like, "Yeah,
That one. Yep.
that one. That's the one." Yep. They're like, "We don't have a reservation. We just need a hotel." So you'll do, man. Thanks. So we get in the thing, go over there. Thankfully, they had a room that had like 2 beds and like a pull-out sofa. So like no compromises on like beds needed to be made. Everybody got like a nice comfortable bed to sleep in. We of course made Nolan the midget sleep in the pull-out sofa.
Obviously.
As you do. Yep. So we got, I wouldn't say a good night's sleep, but we got like a nice like 5 hours, which will do a
That'll
lot
do.
for you
Oh,
after a day like that. So we got up early the next day, got an Uber back to the airport. Got there extra early because, god damn it, I was still going to go to the Sky Club at Salt Lake City.
Absolutely.
So we had a nice breakfast there. I had like this, they had these awesome like coffee machines that'll make you like an Americano like right there. Like it grinds the beans and then it makes the espresso and like does all that good shit. Just so good. It's so good. And then we got on the flight and it was like a perfect flight, got home. And then like afterwards we all kind of like were like, it's kind of good that it happened that way. Because like if we'd gotten on that one flight, we'd have been miserable. We'd have been tired. We'd been sweaty. Like none of us would be able to sleep well. And then our whole Sundays would be messed up because we're just trying to recover from not sleeping.
Yeah. Right. Oh wow.
But yeah.
What time did you get home on Sunday?
I actually got home at like 6:00 in the evening.
Okay, so you still had a little daytime left, but yeah, that's quite the weekend. And you left on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We landed at like 3:30, 3:45 on Sunday at Reagan. Fred's girlfriend picked us up again, drove us back to get Fred's car, and then made the drive back up to his house, got my car, came on home.
What a mess.
I know. I also have to add, if you ever fly Delta, after the flight, ask the pilots if they have any trading cards because they'll give you these bad boys.
Oh, them are nice. I know you sent me the picture of them, but those are
they are actually pretty nice. Yeah.
Huh.
I found a full set of like everyone that's ever been made on eBay for $3,000.
That's insane. I wonder why. Have you found like other sets that like kind of give that one validation, being so dumb
I've
priced?
seen one that's incomplete that was like $900.
Wow.
I mean, dude, it's whatever they want to add. I mean, just because they put that doesn't mean it's going to sell.
Right?
I mean, that wasn't a sold listing. That was just it's listed for 3,000 or however much money it was.
Still scarcity.
Yeah,
There's not that many of them.
It's the fact that they're old versions of them that are no longer being issued. So it's the rarity. I mean, you can't get them anymore.
Right.
Not from Delta pilots anyway.
There's one on here that's like $24. It's like 3 cards. It's not a full set or anything, but could add a couple.
Yeah.
Here's one that's
don't think I haven't looked.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I haven't looked.
There's a 5 757 ones. Got like 4 minutes left on it, bidding at like $25. So,
don't tell Fred.
Yeah,
buy him.
He's probably got the highest bid on that one.
Yeah, probably.
But glad you had a good time. Good memories on there. It sounds like
we're already planning on doing it again at some point. Like, but we did learn a lesson. No red eyes. We're gonna We're gonna just on the red eyes, no, none of those. And I think we're gonna like probably try to do like one airline
Yeah, it's probably ideal instead
because
of just flip flopping.
we lucked out by being able to get on that flight from Dulles to LA because we had our first flight was on United, the rest of it was on Delta. Like United will be under no obligation if we're like we have to get to LA so we can catch this Delta flight. They're like, yeah, fuck you, I don't care.
Right.
We'll get you there when we get there. That's like all we're obligated to do.
Right. We have nothing to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Well,
So-
sounds like a good time. Glad to hear it.
It was fun. It was a great
Good
time.
use of a January weekend too. You know, it's like
Yeah.
cold in Baltimore, but
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't even tell you how many people were like, whose dumbass idea was it to go to Portland in January? And I was like, that would be Fred.
it's actually really nice there right now. While you were talking, I looked up how much or what the temperature was there. It's like in the 50s all week.
Yeah,
You guys just got a bad day.
we did.
Yeah.
We did. There was just literally a snowstorm rolling through that weekend. Because of course there was. It was snowing
Obviously.
in Salt. It was snowing in Salt Lake too, but the people in Utah have seen snow before apparently. So there was not a single inkling of weather disruption in Salt Lake. Before we move on, I have to tell you a funny story. I've told you my that's not C4, is it? TSA agent story, right?
I don't think so. Warning
Okay.
though, Brad and I are both out at like 9.
Oh shit! I took up this whole podcast.
No, that's fine. There's no Orioles news to talk about.
That's true. It's just a recap of the TISM trip. Great. Anyways, so we're going through security in Salt Lake City and put the stuff in the bin, and the guy is like, he's like, yep, you guys are good. He's like, I would just take the hoodies off though, because they're probably gonna pat you down, and I'm dumb and have to make everything a joke. So I was like, I was like, that's fine. I'm in the mood for a good frisking this morning. And the dude's wearing rubber gloves, and he does the like stretching thing, and he's just like, good.
That's a good reaction. I thought he'd be like,
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was really
not
funny.
cool about it.
I just had to tell that.
That's a good one.
Well,
Like
sorry for consuming the whole podcast, everyone. This is absolutely the worst episode of this show that's ever happened.
I mean, I
Nah.
can hang out for like 10, 15 more minutes if you want to talk a little O's.
Brad,
And
you
I can
okay,
just-
man? You look big sleepy.
I'm a little sleepy, yeah, but I'm good.
Ryan, before we go, did you have any thoughts on Tyler Nevin's coming back to the Orioles?
I literally don't have a single thought about that.
Yep, neither did we. Over or under 0.5 at bats this year for the Orioles.
Oh, he'll get DFA'd before the season starts. Guarantee it.
Okay, so under. Brad and I both
Yeah.
took over for some reason.
Yeah.
Said
but
the
not by
equal-
much. But not by much. Like 10 to
No.
15 at bats.
Max.
I mean, like we looked up Josh Lester. He sent 23 at bats, right? So
Yep.
it'll
On a
probably be something.
101 win team.
It'll probably be something like that.
Christ.
We
Yeah,
like
that's-
starting the year with the worst roster.
Okay, so are Jorge Mateo and Ramon Arias both going to be on this team at the end of spring when they break camp for opening day?
Both of them?
Yes.
Hmm.
I think both will, but they won't make it to the end of the year.
Yeah.
At least one of them will not make it to the end of the year.
Hmm.
I'd be honestly surprised if both are still there, but I wouldn't
Oh.
be that surprised if neither one was.
Yep.
I would be pretty surprised if either of them were still there at the end of the year.
They won't be starters. What?
They just have too much infield depth, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just saw a thing about Nikki Haley saying she was harassed for being brown because she grew up in the South.
Jesus.
What a way to end the Tyler Nevin episode.
Sorry, dude, I'm just scrolling and it's just, that's what the algorithm decided it wanted me to see.
Was it like in the ESPN like block lettering? Like a
No.
quote? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, it was not.
All right.
Oh
Well,
man, I feel so bad. I didn't
No,
realize you guys
don't.
were on time crunch.
there's nothing going on.
No, I know there isn't, but I just, we could have talked about something else.
I can stick around for another 10, 15 minutes or so and follow the basketball score on my phone.
Josh, do you absolutely
good.
have to go?
I do
If
actually.
he's got to go, that's all right.
God, you're the worst.
I know I'm the worst.
I know I just sat here and took up a whole podcast about something no one cares about, but you are the worst.
And you were late, but I'm the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm worse-ish. You're the worst.
okay, I gotcha. Well, Brad took us in. You take us out. I think it's
All
only
right.
fair.
Thanks for listening to the worst baseball podcast you've ever listened to in your life. I don't know how much baseball these guys talked before I got on, but there was sure no baseball talk going on afterwards. So thanks for tuning in anyway. I hope you enjoyed listening to how I idiotically spent last weekend. And go Ravens. Fuck the Chiefs. Fuck Taylor Swift.
While we're at it, fuck Joe Burrow.
Fuck Joe Burrow. Yeah, I was getting to that. Yeah. Fuck Joe Burrow. Absolutely. If you guys haven't seen, Brad's sole existence on Twitter now is to like shit on Bengals fans and talk shit about Joe Burrow, and it's very entertaining. If you follow him for nothing else, you should follow him for that.
Yep.
Find
Thank
that
you.
man.
Yep. At KU Brad Wandell.
Yes. For blistering Bengals takes.
And Kansas basketball tweets.
Dude, there's no KU basketball action. It's exclusively hating on Joe Burrow. Like I'm not even exaggerating. It's just hating Joe Burrow. It's so funny. It's like he seeks it out and then it's just like, I'm gonna give my input on this.
I mean, because I've commented, I've reposted so many, it's just in the algorithm just puts them in my face now. It's like
Twitter's just like, this guy really likes the Bengals.
So it's like all I see is Joe Burrow tweets.
This was the year, man. Hey, if he didn't get hurt, man, this was the year.
Yeah, man. Even though they were in last place when he was playing, but
yeah, and then they stayed in last place. But this was the year.
Yep.
This was the year.
Yep. 100%. And they did better. And they did better with Jake Browning than they did with Joe Burrow.
Hey, but this was the year, man. The playoffs missed Joe Burrow.
Yep, they do. They sure do.
This is fun, boys. Good to talk to you guys again.
Always fun.
All right, let's do it again sometime.
Let's do it again, not a month apart. How about that?
We'll see you guys in March.
Most likely. We'll do like a live thing with me on my phone from like Ed Smith Stadium.
That'd be cool. Get Mr. Cetri in the show.
I say my dad would be so annoyed. He's like just trying to watch a baseball game, and I'm like, we're on the podcast right now, Dad.
Every millennial ever.
He's just like, shut up.
Gotta watch those Tyler Nevin at bats.
Yeah, you gotta really see all the work he's put in.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it was a lot, quite extensive.
Oh yes. All right, boys. Good to see you. Good to talk to you.
All right.
Later.
See you.